Hi, everyone. This is Barb Teckle. I just want to take a moment first. If you are new to my work, I am an author of 3 memoirs and 2 children's books about the animal-human bond. And I'm also an oracle card reader and an intuitive guide. And my mission is about helping you deepen your relationship with yourself and with your animal friends. So I'm often asked, what people are curious, if they've never had an oracle card reading before, what is there to expect? What do you need to know? So I thought it'd be a good idea to record this video and hopefully answer some of those questions that maybe you have. If you have other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment, and I will do my best to answer that as well if you have any questions. So I have 2 types of readings, and today I'm going to talk to you about my Wisdom in the Paws readings, which is for you and your animal friend. So that is PAWS. I also have readings that I do just for people, which I call Wisdom in the Paws, PAUSE. And I've done a video on that as well, and I will put that link below. So let's start with the Wisdom in the Paws reading. That's what this video is about today. So what areas can an oracle card reading help in your relationship and maybe perhaps some difficulties or struggles that you're having with a pet? So maybe you are caring for a pet with chronic health issues, or maybe a senior pet who is starting to slow down. Maybe they're in transition, and maybe you're experiencing some burden and some struggles around that. And I have definitely experienced that in my life before. And I came to understand that as what is called pet caregiver burden. It's very similar to what humans experience when they're caring for another human who has chronic health issues or is in their senior years. It's also called compassion fatigue. So if that's an area that you are feeling troubled by and you would need some support, I can definitely help you with that. And we can definitely pull cards around that. And I'll share with you kind of what I go through when we do a reading, so you sort of understand what questions we're looking at and how I pull cards. So maybe you're feeling anxious with a certain behavior that your pet has, and you want to find some resolution around that. Maybe you're pre-grieving or you're grieving the loss of a pet. I can definitely help with that as well. Maybe you're not feeling as connected or bonded with your pet. You want to explore why that is. We can definitely take a look at that as well and pull cards and see what, what oracle cards really are all about is we can get stuck in our logical mind, and our cards can help open us to a different perspective that our thinking mind has blocked us from seeing. So there's a gift in there that can help you open to why perhaps you aren't feeling as connected with your pet. You want to understand that. Maybe you want to explore on a deeper level the reason why you and your pet are together at this time in your life. And really, there's no situation that we can't look at. So if there's some other type of situation and you're wondering, could an oracle card reading help with that? Just reach out to me. I offer a 10-minute free consultation session. No obligation. If you feel it's not a good fit after that, no worries. But if there's something that you are interested in, let me know. We can definitely talk about it. I'd love to talk to you about it. So oracle cards are really a tool that I use to help guide you and your pet. First of all, you back into harmony with yourself, your pet back into harmony with themselves, and then for the both of you to come back into harmony together. And isn't that a great thing? I know that when I feel in harmony with my pet and with myself, life feels really, really good. And who wouldn't love that, right? So how does a session work? I think that's the one thing people really want to try and understand. How does a session with you and your pet work? First of all, your pet doesn't need to be there when we do this. They know what's going on. They really appreciate when you are doing the work to try and help the relationship. Let's just say that right up front, because it's true. I've definitely experienced that time and time again with the animals in my life. So a Wisdom in the Paws Oracle reading is a 60-minute session. I do most of them via Zoom, sometimes Skype if that's what you prefer, but they are done via Zoom, or if need be, we can definitely do them on the phone as well. So once we set up a time and a day that works for both of us, I will send you a client intake form. And that just helps me to get prepared for the calls that I can be of the best guidance and the best service for you and your pet. So that gives me a little bit of information, and then I look at what type of reading is really going to help benefit the both of you the most. Let's see. So the areas that I typically will look at during a reading is we'll pull a card around what represents you, the client, at that time. And that will give us some information. A lot of times then I'll also pull a card around the pet, what the pet is feeling at that time. And then I will look at the relationship between you and your pet. Now, this is a typical reading. Sometimes I do go outside of that. It just really depends on your situation and how I approach that reading. But this is a typical reading just to give you a little bit of an idea. Then I will pull a card around something. Those three cards will help give us a lot of information around what's going on there and how you can move forward. So then we'll pull a card on trying to find some information and exploring what is it that you need to know that will help you to move forward. And then I love this card too, pulling a card around how can you connect with your pet as you've gained this new information, this new awareness, this new insight. And we pull a card around how you can connect with your pet moving forward. And that's always really, really helpful. So you have something tangible to take with you. And I do have to say my favorite part of the readings, which I include in every reading that I do, is a particular message just from your pet. And I continue to be amazed. I probably always will be, but they are always spot on what the pet has to say and share with you. And it always is in alignment with the overall message. And, sometimes it's something you really need to ponder with it. Sometimes you're like, wow, that just brings it all together and you can move forward, in a much better way. Let me see what else. I'm taking a look at my notes here. So, we'll definitely look at your question or whatever the situation is that you're feeling challenged by. And I like to put it in a question form because that helps answer the question, gives you the best insight that you can get. And so if you're struggling with that, I can definitely help you with that. Don't worry about that. Don't get hung up on that. I can help clarify that question for you. So then as we go through the cards, pulling the cards, I'm going to give you the guidance on what the cards are saying. I may share some personal reflection, some personal experience with you. But most of all, what I'm looking for in a reading, which I feel is really beneficial, is this is a conversation. So the more you participate in the conversation, the more you're going to come to your own insight. And in my own experience, I have found that when I can get to that insight on my own with maybe just a little help from a guide, such as someone like myself, that's the stuff that tends to stick. And then when I become aware of that, I can watch, as I do things in my life and I'm aware of what my patterns are. So that's what I'm helping with you also, is looking at the patterns for yourself and then between you and your animal friend. And if they aren't patterns that serve you or your pet, we're going to help shift that so you can come back into balance and harmony again. So after the reading, we start with a short meditation, and I'll just tell you, give you an outline of the reading. We start with a short meditation. Then we look at what your question, your challenge is for the situation. We pull cards, and we have this wonderful conversation and gain lots of insight that's going to help you and your animal friend move forward. And then we close with a short meditation. And then after the reading, what I do is I take a picture of all your cards, and I will write up a very brief summary of each card, and I will send that to you in a PDF form. So you have that, because I have found in my experience working with oracle cards, tuning into my animal friends, that insight continues to come. And it could show up a week later, a month later, a year later. So having that PDF again is something tangible that you can reflect on, maybe journal with, and continue to receive insight. So I think that is it. If I didn't cover something that you are just really curious about, how an oracle card reading works with you and your animal friend, just leave the question below, and I'm happy to answer that for you. And if this is something you would like to experience, I would definitely love to connect with you and your animal friend. Nothing brings me more joy than doing that. So feel free to reach out to me. Remember, I have the 10-minute free exploration call. Don't hesitate to email me for that as well. So I hope that was helpful. And if I can be of help and service, please do reach out. Thanks so much. Take good care.